Welcome to the Refusion Podcast, where we transform patient care.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're focusing on something really powerful for anyone involved in running a healthcare practice: patient testimonials.
That's right, those sort of heartfelt endorsements, from patients who've had a genuinely positive experience.
Exactly. Think of it as patients vouching for you for the care they received. We're going to unpack why these are so vital.
And importantly, how tools like Refusion can actually help you gather and use them effectively.
Yeah, we'll be looking at why they matter, some real-world examples, and, the practical side. How do you get them? How do you use them?
It all comes down to trust, really. Patient testimonials are basically social proof in action for healthcare.
Right? Social proof. Okay, let's start there. Why is that the first big reason these matter so much?
Well, think about it. People trust other people, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it's about something as personal and important as healthcare. Your practice can say it's great, but
hearing it from another patient, that hits differently.
Exactly. It adds a layer of credibility that, frankly, marketing claims just can't match on their own. The data actually shows something like 90% of people trust customer opinions way more than the brand's own messages.
90%? Wow. Okay, so that's a huge trust factor. It makes your claims believable.
It really does. It builds that instant credibility.
And beyond just credibility, there's an emotional side too, isn't there? Like seeing real stories.
Oh, absolutely. That's the human touch aspect. Healthcare can feel, a bit impersonal sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe even intimidating. Reading about a real interaction, maybe with the doctor's kindness or a successful outcome.
Yeah.
It makes the practice feel more relatable, more approachable.
It builds a connection before they even step through the door.
Precisely. It fosters that sense of trust on an emotional level.
So it builds trust, it adds that human element.
Yeah.
Sounds like it directly impacts getting new patients and keeping current ones happy too.
Definitely. For prospective patients, especially those comparing options online, seeing positive testimonials can genuinely be the thing that tips the scales. It gives them confidence.
Like the final push they need to book an appointment.
Yeah. And for your existing patients, seeing those shared positive experiences reinforces their own choice. It builds loyalty, makes them feel good about where they're getting care.
That makes sense. And you mentioned patient education earlier. How do testimonials play a role there? That seems interesting.
Well, a good testimonial often details a patient's journey, right? So if someone is researching a specific condition or treatment.
Okay. They can see what it was actually like for someone else.
Exactly. It can explain the process, maybe ease some fears, provide insights from a peer perspective. It educates them in a way that feels very real and less clinical.
So it's not just trust us, here's how it worked for someone like you.
Precisely. It empowers them with relatable information.
Okay, and the numbers really back all this up, don't they? We looked at some stats.
They do. It's pretty compelling. I think one figure was 73% of patients check online reviews and testimonials when choosing a doctor.
73%. So nearly 3/4 are actively looking for this kind of feedback.
Yeah, it's a standard part of the decision-making process now. And again, that 90% trust factor in peer opinions over brand claims just keeps coming up.
It's a powerful number. What about video? Is that even more impactful?
It seems to be. The data suggests something like 79% of people have watched a video testimonial.
Okay.
And get this, 77% of those viewers said it actually persuaded them to buy a product or service. In our case, choose a provider.
Wow. Over 3/4 influenced by seeing and hearing someone's story. That's significant.
It really is. Video adds that extra layer of authenticity. Seeing the person, hearing their voice. It connects powerfully.
So when you put all that data together, the high percentage checking reviews, the huge trust in peers, the impact of video, it really paints a clear picture.
It does. It shows that leveraging patient experiences isn't just like a nice-to-have marketing tactic anymore. It's pretty fundamental. People rely on what others say, especially for something as critical as health.
Okay, got it. So they're crucial. Now, let's clarify something. People sometimes use reviews and testimonials interchangeably. What's the actual difference for a practice thinking about this?
That's a really good point. They are distinct. Reviews are typically shorter feedback snippets, often with a star rating.
Right, like you see on Google or Health Grades, those kinds of places.
Exactly. Third-party platforms, they can be positive, negative, neutral. It's usually a mix. Testimonials, though, are generally longer, more in-depth stories.
More of a narrative about their experience?
Yes. And they can be written or, as we said, video. Crucially, you usually feature testimonials on your own platforms, your website, your marketing materials.
So you have more control over testimonials. You choose which positive stories to highlight.
That's generally the idea. While reviews reflect the broad spectrum of feedback out there, testimonials are curated to showcase successful outcomes and positive patient relationships. Both are valuable, but they serve slightly different purposes.
Okay, that distinction is helpful. Reviews are broad feedback. Testimonials are curated success stories.
You got it.
So to make this really concrete, let's talk about some examples. How are some leading healthcare organizations actually using testimonials effectively?
Yeah, looking at examples is great. Take the Cleveland Clinic. They often do these really detailed, quite heartfelt patient stories.
What makes them effective?
They use direct patient quotes. They explain the treatment journey in simple terms, not jargon, and they often include really relatable photos of the patients. It feels very genuine and human.
It makes it easy for someone to see themselves in that situation.
Exactly. Then you have, say, Johns Hopkins Heart and Vascular Institute. Their approach is a bit different.
How's that?
They tend to use shorter, more concise patient stories right on their main testimonials page. It's quick, engaging, easy to scan, and get a positive impression fast.
So, different styles, but both aiming for impact.
Right. It depends on your audience and goals. Another interesting one was Cherrywood Dental Associates.
What do they do?
They actually use scans of authentic handwritten thank you notes from patients.
Handwritten notes, really?
Yeah. It sounds simple, but think about the authenticity. It feels so personal and credible. It screams real.
That's clever. It shows you don't necessarily need, high-budget video production to be effective.
Absolutely not. Whether it's a polished video, a detailed written story, or a simple handwritten note, the core things are authenticity and building that trust.
Okay, so these examples give a good sense of the possibilities. Now, for the practice owner listening, the big question is, how do I actually get these testimonials? Patients are busy.
Right. The key is to make it easy and timely. The best time to ask is usually right after their visit, when the positive experience is still fresh in their mind.
So ask while they're checking out, or maybe send a quick follow-up.
Both can work. A polite ask in person, or, often more practical, an automated follow-up via text or email shortly after the appointment.
And what if they don't respond right away? Life gets in the way.
That's normal. Sending a single friendly reminder a few days later is a good practice. Not nagging, just a gentle nudge.
Okay. And make it easy for them, right? Not some long, complicated survey.
Crucial, keep it simple. Offer options. Maybe a quick link to leave written feedback, or even an option to easily record a short video on their phone if they're comfortable. Remove friction.
And the absolute must-do.
Get their permission.
Yeah.
Always obtain explicit consent before using their words or image as a testimonial. You have to be mindful of privacy regulations like METSPO. Consent is non-negotiable.
Right. Consent is key. This sounds like it could be a lot to manage, manually asking, reminding, getting consent, organizing.
It definitely can be. And that's where tools specifically designed for this come into play. Something like Repusion, for instance.
How does a platform like Repusion help streamline this?
Well, it automates a lot of it. It can automatically send out those satisfaction surveys via text or email right after the visit. It uses simple rating scales and prompts for more detailed feedback.
So it handles the asking and initial collection.
Yes. And importantly, it integrates the consent process. When patients leave positive feedback, the system can prompt them for permission to use it publicly as a testimonial. It keeps everything compliant and organized.
Takes the manual legwork and potential compliance headaches out of it.
Pretty much. It helps you consistently gather that valuable feedback and get the necessary permissions without bogging down your staff.
Okay, so you've used a system, maybe Repugen, or you've manually collected some great testimonials, you've got consent. Now what? Where do you put them for maximum impact?
You need to be strategic about placement. A dedicated testimonials page on your website is almost essential. It's where people often look specifically for that social proof.
Like a central hub for positive stories.
Exactly. But don't just hide them there. Feature one or two strong ones right on your homepage. That creates a powerful first impression.
Grab attention immediately. Makes sense. What about social media?
Oh, absolutely. Sharing testimonials on your social profiles, Facebook, Instagram, wherever your patients are, is huge for social proof. Short quotes, maybe clips from video testimonials.
Keeps your practice visible and reinforces trust online.
Definitely. You can also weave them into blog posts, maybe elaborate on a specific patient's journey with their permission, of course.
As a human element to content marketing.
Right. And don't forget email. Including a compelling testimonial in your newsletters or email campaigns can be really effective for nurturing potential patients or reminding existing ones why they chose you.
So basically, integrate them across your online presence.
Yes, make them visible wherever potential patients might encounter your practice online. And again, platforms like Repugen often help here too, providing ways to easily share or embed these collected testimonials onto your website or social channels.
Okay, so wrapping things up, the big takeaway here seems clear. For any healthcare practice listening, patient testimonials are, well, incredibly valuable.
They really are. It boils down to trust. People trust other patients. Harnessing those positive experiences is a powerful way to build your practice's credibility, attract new patients, and keep the ones you have loyal.
You're essentially letting your satisfied patients become your best advocates.
That's a perfect way to put it. And tools like Repugen just make that process much more manageable and efficient, turning those great experiences into a real strategic asset.
So, a final thought for everyone listening to mull over. As we rely more and more on online information, on peer reviews, on shared experiences, how do you think this ongoing trend will continue to shape healthcare? And what does it mean for the future importance of these truly authentic patient voices?
That's a great question to consider. The value of that authenticity seems likely to only increase, doesn't it? Something to definitely keep in mind. Thanks for listening to the Repugen Podcast, your path to better healthcare.